for dog lovers. Well, great, you know, a lot of people would probably like that, but do you care about that person who's writing that, and do you really like want them to just do the best they can do at telling you about dogs? No, you don't care. You just want the information. And so those people probably have a million more viewers than I do. I don't care. I would rather have the connectedness that comes from being small and focused. So, step 2. Okay, you ready for this one? Don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. Okay, and I didn't substitute that word on purpose, because I'm not talking about don't give a care, don't give a darn. No, I mean don't give a shit. I mean, if you have been gifted to do something, if you hear a calling, then you answer that, and you don't give a shit what anybody else says. And to do that, to hear your calling, you've got to tune out the crowd. You cannot be worried about what everybody else thinks. So to hear, I know you want to write that down, to hear your calling, you have to tune out the crowd. Because I'm kind of out there and I will talk about taboo subjects and I'll go in directions people are afraid to go, I get some harsh comments. I will get emails or tweets or whatever about people trying to correct me and get me in line, and at first, now I just think it's hilarious, but at first it really hurt, it was really hard, and I had this friend say to me, you can't worry about the chorus, you were called to a solo. And that was so helpful, it was so true, and you just can't listen. You just can't listen to the crowd. And so back in the beginning, when I would, you know, people would comment and say, oh, you know, whatever I didn't like about what you just said, I would chase them. It was so embarrassing. I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 and I just really meant this. And then, you know what, those people would be gone. They would just be, you know, they would maybe come back another time to see if I really meant it. I was really contrite. Of course I wasn't, because I have to do, as much as I'm a people pleaser, I'm more, it's harder for me not to be myself. So eventually that just wins out. But these people that I was chasing, they'd be gone anyhow. So I've got to tell you, never chase your audience. It's just embarrassing. You invite your audience, and then you're grateful and you're gracious to the people who come, and then you just forget the rest. And I think that not giving a shit what anyone else thinks, for me, ultimately, it comes down to a confidence in who made me to be who I am and what I'm gifted to do. So I know we don't all believe the same things, and that's okay, but I would just encourage you to think about this thing that you're good at. Why? Like, why are you good at that? Where did that come from? And I think you just need to have confidence. You need to be grounded in that confidence about who made you to be doing what you're doing. And then ultimately, it's your choice, and you have to make it. I tell people, because I think people just think, you know, I don't know. I think people, they want it to be easy, but really, you have to make a choice. Will you cater to the opinion of people, or will you live in response to your maker? And there's really only those two choices. All right, so step 3. It sounds simple. It's just repeat. But there's more to it than you know, it's not as simple as it sounds. To repeat these steps, these, you know, owning it and not giving a shit what people think. In order to repeat that, you've got to stay focused on what you love. I'll see people who are doing their thing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're trying to, the biggest, you know, the latest fad. They're trying to make their blog something it's not. They're trying to, I mean, really kind of pander to popular opinion, and then they lose. I feel like they lose traction. I've seen blogs where I'm kind of interested in what's going on, Then all of a sudden it's, all of a sudden they're mass marketing or something. And so you've got to stay focused on what you love, and you've got to resist that temptation to pander, because it'll come up. You'll feel it. You're like, oh, this is great. I've got all these people on board, and if I just did this big marketing stunt that everybody else in the world does, then I'll have an even bigger group. And I don't know, pandering just grosses me out. So I say you just have to resist that temptation. And then I think that the biggest part to repeating, to owning it and to not giving a shit, is you have to redefine success. It can't be about making money. It can't be about a bigger audience. And you can make money, and you can have a big audience, but it can't be about that. I think that you have to redefine success as looking for a better audience. You need to, do you have a loyal audience? Do you have a supportive audience? Do you have an engaged audience? You guys, that is so much more valuable than having a big audience. But more than that, I think you have to redefine success by doing what you love. If I'm doing my woodworking blog and I have 2 million people reading it, for me, that's not successful. But if I'm telling my stories in the honest, funny, raw way that I love doing things, and if I had only 20 people show up, I would still consider myself successful. And just a note on that, if you do only have 20 people, 10 people, whatever, showing up, you guys, if you have anyone showing up to support you doing what you love to do, then that is successful. So I want to encourage you to find the thing that you'd be happy doing, even if no one else knew about it. And I want you to focus on doing that as well and as much as you can. Because that's honoring your gift. And honoring your gift honors its giver. And honoring your gift and the giver is success.